Namaste, greetings. We have Asif ji with us to have another discussion. Last time we talked with Asif ji about America, its history, and what the future might look like in America. We discussed many things, and Asif ji gave us a lot of insights from his perspective. But today we will talk about the president from the Republican Party, Donald Trump. As we know, Donald Trump has come into office for a second term and has come to power again. So, Asif ji, if we start with his leadership, what can you tell us from your perspective about his leadership? What is it that people saw in him that the public they voted him back into power?
First of all, let me explain to you that in any leader's horoscope, it is very important for two stars to be well placed, no matter which country they are from Saturn and Jupiter. The angle between them, whether it's a square angle, triangle, or opposition, is significant. In Trump's horoscope, the positions of Saturn and Jupiter are very strong. That's number one. Number two, the current star time period he's going through, which is Rahu's period, is in a very good position. This started in January 2025 and will last until September 2027. So these two things are making him very powerful. And especially the position of Rahu in his house number 10. It relates to respect. How much respect you will receive. What will people think of you? Will people think negatively or positively about them? For example, some prime ministers get abused during this time. However, Mr. Trump's Rahu time period will bring him respect. That is, people will think about him with respect, like how some people are turned into deities, while others become something else entirely. I even think it's possible that he might win a Nobel Prize. Anyway, his situation in this regard is very good, and especially the position of Saturn and Jupiter shows that he has leadership quality. Now, coming to another point, I've often heard from people and seen on TV that he would do ridiculous things, strange acts on stage, or when meeting leaders of other countries, he would behave oddly. The question is, if he did this intentionally, or does he have some kind of brain problem or a mental issue, or was he really doing it on purpose? His horoscope tells us about this as well. The sun shows that he does not have any mental issues and was doing it deliberately. He also has a sense of humor, not that he is a comedian, but the sun's position shows that he enjoys making jokes a bit. Anyhow, right now his star position is very strong. I see Mr. Trump rising very high in the next 2 to 2.5 years.
Sir, the things you are saying, how much will the people here actually believe them or accept them? Because right now there is a lot of anger among people regarding his policies. He has really brought business down, and at one point the stock market also dropped significantly. There has been a huge impact on tourism as well. He imposed tariffs on other countries, especially on neighboring countries, and a lot of people from those neighboring countries used to visit America, and many even live here for long periods. But now all of them have stopped coming, so tourism has also been greatly affected. So there are quite a few people who are not at all happy with his policies. Yet you are saying that he will get fame. How will that come about?
As I mentioned to you in the previous program, let's first talk about those people who are living here illegally, whom Mr. Trump wanted to have removed from here. But as I had explained in America's horoscope, a law will be passed because of which they will receive good news number one. Now, to answer your question, there's no doubt that his foreign policy will be very strict, very tough. Now, the third point is that because of the new taxes, the public will be in trouble, and because of tariffs, countries will be in trouble. But the solution will be found because The good star period he is currently experiencing will gradually progress, and he will eventually make a U-turn on the decisions he has made.
All right, let's move forward and see what happens. We'll talk to you again about this. So, do you think Mr. Trump's popularity rating will increase in the future?
Yes, it will increase, and I'll give you a time frame for that. The first time frame is until September 2025. After that, there will be a silence. Then the second period, a long stretch, starts from February 2026 and continues until the end of 2027.
Talking about opposition, for example, there's quite a bit of opposition from the American courts. And obviously, the other Democratic Party is already opposing him, but right now he's facing a lot of opposition related to his current policies. Can you see anything about this opposition in his horoscope? Will he continue to face it?
In astrology, the star associated with opposition is Mars, which is called Mangal in Hindi. In his horoscope, Mars is positioned in a very dangerous zone, and this is also related to his health, which we'll discuss later. But after opposition, the two stars that come into play are Pluto and Mars, so there will be no shortage of opposition for them, and people will keep coming up against them.
So, does that mean they will keep facing opposition no matter what they do?
Yes, right.
Donald Trump himself says that even if he were to win a Nobel Prize, his opposition would never be happy with him.
But his current period of Rahu that is going on right now, which will last until 2027, is actually a really good thing. Wherever Rahu is positioned right now, it will only come back to this place after 18 years. If you want to see Rahu again in the same sign or at the same degree as it is today, we'll have to wait another 18 years. All right. So Rahu's position is very favorable right now, which means his decisions are going to be quite unusual. Rahu is going to change the direction of his politics and he will find varied new paths. The anger and frustration we see amongst the public due to taxes and other policies, we will see a softening by him. Some of this will be due to the law and some due to changes he will bring about himself.
Now, if we talk about his health, you know that when he was running for election, he was attacked as well. Considering his age now and looking ahead, how will his health be?
When it comes to health, Mars is in front of him. The main issues he faces are firstly, blood pressure problems, secondly, the risk of brain hemorrhage, and thirdly, issues with his legs, such as paralysis or similar conditions. Paralysis is one of those possibilities, but that is something that could happen in the future.
So, as long as he remains in power, do you foresee health problems for him during this period?
At this time, during the current period, he may experience some minor health problems until June 16, but it won't be so serious that the whole world finds out. He will keep this matter to himself.
So, you're saying that when he is no longer president, that's when his health will start to deteriorate?
Yes, a lot can happen, especially due to high blood pressure, like a blood vessel bursting, a brain hemorrhage, or some other problem, the brain not functioning, numbness. There's a much higher risk of these kinds of things.
And how can you see in astrology how long he will live?
But age is related to Saturn and Jupiter. If their angles are favorable, in my own experience, such people tend to have a very long life, number one. Number two, the positions of the other stars, as well as the specific angles they form with each other, generally indicate a lifespan of at least 70 to 80 years. According to the observations and interpretations made.
So 70, yeah. Right now, at this moment, I think his age is 75.
No, after 2027, When he faces a problem with Mars, that's when he'll start having health issues, for sure. But let me just explain one more thing to you.
Sorry, their age is actually 78 right now.
Yes, it's 78. So let me explain something to you first. You see, this Mars, the kind of opposition that it is making sometimes, people even get killed in fights. And just like in the past with his attempted assassination, some people said it was planned, some said something else. In any case, the star position is showing that it was real. And it did happen. It wasn't some plan. So they will face similar problems in the future as well. But the point keeps coming back to the fact that their current start time period and the remaining time they have in government are matching up. So as long as they stay in government, things will go well for them.
Now, as we see, Donald Trump's ego is very high. He thinks a lot about himself. He holds himself in very high regard. In fact, if you look at the way he signs executive bills, the way he handles his policies, there is a lot of pride in him. He believes we have come here to do this, and this is exactly what we will do. So many people believe that his ego is very high based on his star position. Sorry, according to his astrology, what can you tell us about his personality?
Regarding his personality, his ascendant sign meaning, at the time and date of his birth in New York, the Earth was facing Leo zone. His ascendant sign is Leo, and its ruling star is the Sun. The Sun was in his 10th house. Now, Leo typically has a dual standard. On one hand, they are very sincere with people, and on the other hand, they can display arrogance, show ego, or become rude. These kinds of traits are also indicated. So they have a double standard. Overall, though he is sincere, there is sincerity in him. His personality at its core is that of a sincere person. But on the outside, he has put on the clothes of ego. You can think of it that.
So you're saying that deep down he's actually very kind and charitable, but on the outside he presents himself as a completely different type of person.
Exactly. He's wrapped himself in ego like a cloak.
And how will their internal and external policies change going forward? Can you see anything regarding his policies?
Regarding that as well, Saturn is entering house number 9 in his horoscope. Now, in just 2 or 3 days, on the 26th of May, it will enter. So, in that area, he will take a strict approach regarding this. Just like you asked in the previous program, whether the people living illegally will benefit from the law or from Trump. Trump's policies will remain so strict that they will only benefit from the law. Now, as Saturn enters, the angle that it's forming is indicating a tougher stance. That means it's possible they might even issue warnings to different countries regarding this matter.
So you don't think he'll go to war in the future, right?
There is no war during his time.
Some people also say that Trump's policies will eventually sink America. What do you think about that? According to astrology, are these policies good for America's future or not?
Mr. Gupta, whatever the star position is right now, I will only speak to that. In my opinion, whatever is happening right now, he will take a U turn and change it, and America will experience growth and be taken to new heights.
And based on his star position, is there anything I haven't been able to ask about, or perhaps anything else that you would like to discuss regarding him?
Look, as far as health issues are concerned, they still have some time, but the major issue is the risk of brain damage, the danger of paralysis. Those are things for the future. But currently, with the position that Shani is about to take for them, they should soften their foreign policy and treat those people who are living there on asylum with more leniency. He will adopt a very strict approach regarding foreign policy.
All right. When Donald Trump raised his hand once or twice in a photo, photographers took a picture of it, which I sent you. So you must have seen his palm according to palmistry. What did you observe about his life?
Let's see. First of all, it is seen how their emotions or heartline is. Is it normal? Not too selfish? Not too merciful? It's somewhere in the middle. And even as far as the brain line is concerned, that too is good for them. There's just a normal line present. I think for the most part, he relies on his advisors for everything. And then, as for the mounts on his hand, like you mentioned a little while ago about egothi mount of Jupiter, the mount of Mars, both negative and positive, and the mount of Moon, all of these are not flat, but rather raised and prominent. They are like mounts. So, firstly, he is very hasty by nature. For that, he wants everything to happen quickly and immediately. And in fact, it is only because of Jupiter and Saturn's position that he has gained a bit of public popularity and has moved forward so far. But basically, this man is a combatant, like a warrior. This is the kind of person he is.
We can see that he did make quite a name for himself in real estate, and even later he expanded his businesses significantly, suffered quite a few losses. So his life has always been like this, but we see that he always handles things aggressively. If we talk about his son, as many people say Barron, who is his youngest son, Barron Trump, who is from his current wife, Melania Trump, many people say he is his favorite son. And a lot of people think that maybe in the future he could also become the president of the United States. So if we talk about Barron specifically, that his horoscope indicate a chance of this happening.
When we see his horoscope, he can get such a chance. But the problem is that when he was born, 4 or 5 stars were in retrograde. So there is about an 80 to 90% chance of him becoming president. However, because those stars are retrograde, there is still time. It doesn't show that as soon as Trump leaves, Barron will immediately take over, like what happened in the case of George W. Bush. But that's not the case here. There is a gap.
Right now he's only 19. No one will make him president because he's young, a lot to learn. But can you see when in the future he might have a chance if he does become president?
According to the official age, it would be after 35 to 40 years of age. By then, perhaps Mr. Trump will no longer be in this world.
Let's see if Barron Trump is watching our program right now. Maybe he'll start preparing himself for this in the future. But if you can, please tell us anything more about Barron Trump.
Barron Trump, yes, he has a romantic nature. And as for his love sign, he has a good star active. And so is quite fortunate in this regard. He tends to change his affections and loves frequently. In terms of education, his stars are favorable, and financially as well, his condition looks good. However, when it comes to friends and those who are close to him, his social network, there are some issues. His temperament is somewhat similar to Trump's, meaning he tends to show ego, be stubborn, and try to dominate others. To take U-turn on what he does and then apologize later.
All right, we really appreciate you sharing knowledge about Trump and his son. In our next episode, we will go further and talk more about astrology and topics related to astrology. So for today, we will end our episode here. Thank you, Asif ji, for joining us. Goodbye.